What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anthony's Takes. The day has finally come and gone. The release of Avengers Endgame. And what you're going to get from me right now is my full movie review, including spoilers. I was thinking about doing a separate one of just a review and then do a separate spoiler talk. But I'm going to just do it all in one, basically. And I'm just gonna skip trying to not spoil it for a regular movie review. So, if you haven't seen Endgame and don't want to know any spoilers, do not watch this. This is a spoiler talk video of Avengers Endgame. Stop watching this right now if you don't want the plot spoiled for you. So, I definitely went into this movie expecting a lot, and knowing that it was 3 hours long, there was no way I was going to be unsatisfied with this movie. And even, no movie is perfect. There's flaws and a couple of loopholes here and there that I may have noticed, or it was done purposefully by the Russo brothers. But we'll get into that in a second, what I'm talking about. But man, this movie delivered. It did not disappoint at all. And I hear chatter of a couple people saying, in their movie reviews, it was a little slow in the beginning. But for me, honestly, in those first 30 to 45 minutes after Thanos basically gets his head chopped off, I didn't find myself bored at all. The talking and the depression that the Avengers were going through, everybody that survived the snap wasn't living a fulfilled life the way Thanos promised, the way he said the universe would be grateful for what he did. And basically that was not true, or it was just up to the people who did survive to go ahead and live on their life, live on and accept what happened. But nobody accepted what happened, especially the Avengers. Some people move on, but like Captain Rogers said, not them. They did not move on. So it was done perfectly to where the moment Thanos got his head chopped off, I knew they were going to travel back into time. I just had this feeling, and it was inevitable. Of course they were gonna go. I mean, it was shown in the trailer. They had the quantum suits, so they were going to use the quantum realm to time jump. With the help of Ant-Man, of course, which, if it wasn't for that rat that was crawling across the dashboard of that truck, what would the Avengers have been able to do without Ant-Man? Nothing. They needed Ant-Man, and he basically saved their asses. But thanks to that rat that brought him back from the quantum realm, all those years, it's only been 5 years, so I don't know. But yeah, of course, yeah, it's been 5 years, but to him it was only 5 hours. So that was pretty crazy for him to come out and see the way things were, and all of a sudden he sees his daughter all grown up. So that was pretty crazy, a pretty emotional scene right there. So of course they approached Tony Stark with their theory and their idea, and he basically turns them away. He basically has a child now. He has a daughter named Morgan, which is what he had a dream of in Infinity War. He had a dream that he named his daughter Morgan, and shit, it actually came true, because he was rescued by Captain Marvel, I kind of wanted Pepper Potts to be the one to save him, but how would she have been able to find where he was just by using that rescue suit? I don't know, but made sense to have Captain Marvel be the one to save him, since she knows the galaxy and all these universes like the back of her hand, because that's why that's why we're told she has never been in the Avengers. Even though she's been around since the 90s, she's been in other universes and galaxies helping other planets, so that's why she barely got the call by Nick Fury at the end of Infinity War, when he got dusted away and he paged her in the pager that she gave him at the end of Captain Marvel. So Carol Danvers, she was hardly in this movie, but for the parts that she was in it, she kicked ass. She did what she was supposed to do, which was like, kick Thanos' ass for a little bit. But even though she wasn't the actual savior of the Avengers, the way that Kevin Feige led on that she was the most powerful being in the universe, which is replacing Adam Warlock, she was pretty much supposed to be that central key role of the Infinity Gauntlet comics, that since there was no Adam Warlock in the MCU yet, we're supposed to be getting him for the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But what didn't make sense to me was they teased him at the end of both Guardians of the Galaxy movies. They teased him, and he's still not here yet. He should have been here for Infinity War and Endgame, but just didn't work out in the plans. So Captain Marvel, yeah, she was more enjoyable in this movie than she was in her own introductory movie. I mean, the movie was good. It was okay. But it just didn't... we never got the notion that she was this all-powerful being. But for some of the things that she did in this movie, she definitely showed that. With how she was fighting Thanos. But the only thing that had Thanos get the upper hand on her when they were fighting was he took the Power Stone out of the glove, put it in this hand, and just socked her right in the face, and that pretty much, I think that knocked her out for that ending sequence, and that's when Iron Man did what he did, sacrifice himself. So, but yeah, for the beginning of this movie, it was just, it was just perfect. The way that they had, they kill off Thanos in the present timeline, but of course they had to go back into time and basically capture all the stones that were throughout history in different places. So they had to be picky of when and where they go to get all 6 stones and bring them back to the present time so that they could snap. And all they wanted to do was just bring the people that they lost, bring back everybody that was lost and the snap, and change nothing else. So that little conflict that they had between the Hulk and everyone talking about alternate universes and alternate timelines and erasing the past and changing the future, it was just, to be honest, I've seen this movie twice, and that part when they're talking, I'm just completely lost. I'm gonna be honest, completely honest, where with what happens at the end with Captain America, he has a shield, but then the present shield was crushed and broken to pieces by Thanos, fighting Thanos. And so that shield that he has when he's old and gray, that means he must have taken that shield from the past Captain America, and brought it back to that point, because he's all old and wrinkly. He's lived his life with Peggy, and he got his happily ever after. So, but does that mean that he didn't become Captain America at all? Was he not? He just lived a normal life? Probably, yeah. But where did he get that shield from? You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that was a little... And then it was perfect how Sam asked him, oh, are you going to tell me about her? Because he saw the wedding ring. He was like, no, I don't think I will. He kept it a mystery. Because in Winter Soldier, we see that she did get married, but they never reveal who she got married to. So that's another... If he went back into time, that means that he was married to her the whole time in that timeline. Or did that create an alternate timeline? That's what I'm leaning more towards. Like, there's two different Captain Americas in that time now, because he went back into time and lived his life as just regular Steve Rogers. That was a perfect way to send off Chris Evans, and because when he announced that, he was retiring from the role, and I believe, I can't remember what video I said it in. I think it might have been the second trailer reaction to Endgame, where I said to myself, like, what I would like to see happen is Captain America get killed by Thanos, or he sacrifices himself by doing so, or he just, after the battle of Endgame, he just decides to retire. And that's almost what happened. He did retire as Captain America, gave his shield to either Bucky or Falcon, and he ends up giving it to Falcon, which makes more sense. Like, and not just in the whole essence of, oh, we got a black Captain America now. Not just that, but also, if you think about it, let's say if he were to give the shield to Bucky. Giving the shield to Bucky, why would you do that if Bucky, for most of his life, was the Winter Soldier, a terrorist, and he was, you wouldn't want to put the shield in someone. Yeah, okay, you can argue, oh, but he was brainwashed, and yeah, but still, you wouldn't. Why would you want to give the shield to someone who was brainwashed, and have that bad history of being the Winter Soldier? So, Falcon, he's been by Cap's side since he came about. He hasn't done him wrong, so he was the perfect fit to get the shield, and that was pretty much. I read this article somewhere where somehow, some way, Bucky had already knew what Cap was gonna do, and that's why when he turned around and saw Cap sitting on the bench, elderly, and he just tells Sam, oh, go ahead, go. He knew what was gonna happen, and he knew what was going on more than Sam did. So as if Winter Soldier was in that alternate timeline also back in those days, in the past. With the death of Iron Man, I did not see coming. Going into the movie. However, when I saw that he had a daughter, when they revealed that he had a daughter, it kind of hit me in my face. We're like, oh fuck, he's gonna die. He's gonna die, and he's gonna leave behind his daughter. When the movie is showing the connection he and his daughter had, I was like, they're showing this for a reason. They gave him a daughter for a reason, and he's gonna die. I just had a feeling. So that final scene, yeah, I shed a tear. I shed a tear twice in this movie. Shed a tear with Black Widow, fighting with Clint to basically sacrifice herself, which made more sense because, like, Clint said it should be him because of what he became, but that life that he was living as Ronin was what Black Widow was before she became an Avenger. So she took it upon herself, you know, to be the one to sacrifice because he had a family to raise and he has kids to try to bring back. So that's why, you know, she chose that. So, but when the four of them, they went to, I believe it was Morag. First of the four of them went to Morag, and then all of a sudden they split up. They split up, and two of them went to Vormir. So when I saw, like, okay, we're going to Vormir now, I was like, oh shit, one of them's gonna die. One of them, they if they're going after the Soul Stone, like, shouldn't they have already known that? Because Nebula was right there. That's one loophole I saw. Was Nebula was right there the whole time when they were picking who's going to where to get what stone. She had already stated to everybody in the room saying that when Thanos went to go get the Soul Stone, he didn't come back with Gamora, which means that he sacrificed her. So why the hell didn't they? They should have decided in that room who was going to sacrifice themselves and not have it be on the spot where Red Skull reveals to them, you know, a soul for a soul, and they need to decide who's going to be the one to die to get the stone. You know, that dawned on me. We're like, wait a minute, like, everyone, why is this a surprise to anyone? Like, as soon as I saw them going to Vormir, I was like, oh yeah, one of them's gonna die. One of them's gonna sacrifice. They have to. Like, there's no going around it. You have to sacrifice yourself to get the Soul Stone. So, with that being said, I mean, and there's no coming back from that. Even if you snap, you can snap all you want. Gamora was never gonna come back. Now we've got, but now we've got a Gamora from the past that is in the present day, which makes sense. If they're gonna make another Guardians of the Galaxy, that means that Gamora really isn't dead. But the Gamora that's gonna be in this third Guardians of the Galaxy movie is gonna be herself. She's not gonna, you know, be the one that was in love with Peter Quill. So, that movie is just going to be interesting where they're like, it's Gamora, but it's not Gamora because it's an alternate Gamora. It's the Gamora from the past. So that's going to be a funny storyline to put in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie where she's not dead, but she is dead in a way. It doesn't make sense. So, but what else can we talk about? One thing I noticed was whether or not, I could be wrong, but the Loki that was in 2012 in New York and and actually grabbed the Tesseract and disappeared into that portal. Someone tell me in my comment section, does that mean that Loki is somehow still alive just the way Gamora is still alive? We've got Loki who grabbed that Tesseract, even though afterwards, because that mission failed, Tony Stark and Cap went back to the 1970s and retrieved the Tesseract from that moment. They retrieved this Tesseract from that moment and bring it back. And he runs into his own father. And when he ran into his own father, it was kind of crazy for him to, you know, talk to him about becoming a father, because Howard Stark was saying, "Oh, my wife is expecting. Do you have your own kid?" And he's all looking at him like, "Are you sure? You look familiar. Are you sure I don't know you?" So that was pretty cool. That was a really, really good scene. It was very entertaining to see that, and it was, so by him getting the stone from the 1970s, the Tesseract from the 1970s, what happened to that Loki that disappeared with that Tesseract? Like, that means that he's out there somewhere with the Tesseract, even though it may have been destroyed. You know what I mean? I wonder if that would... Where did he go with that? He's basically, he's got to still be alive now because of that. Because he escaped with the Tesseract, even though it was in 2012. So, but like, just by them going to the 1970s and getting the Tesseract, does that erase what happened in 2012? I don't know. That's definitely a question I'm not really too sure of. If it got answered in the movie, I may have missed it. I don't know. Someone comment down below and let me know. But that's... And I know for a fact this Disney Plus is supposed to... Loki should be getting his own TV show. I'm not sure if it's a prequel or is it going to have something to do with what just happened in Endgame. And same thing with this... there's a Black Widow movie coming out anytime soon. They're supposed to be producing it this June, coming soon. So is that going to be a prequel? Or is something going to happen with this Soul Stone that's, going to make her come back to life? I don't know. So, same thing with Vision. Vision is completely gone because of the Soul Stone. Gamora is completely gone because of the Soul Stone. And Black Widow. Even though Gamora, there's a past Gamora that's still around. So, trying to think what else. But yeah, a few of the most fun moments of this movie is definitely Thor being out of shape and drunk pretty much the whole movie. You were expecting to see him... I was expecting to see like him, use his magic to make himself the way he should look, or I was gonna expect like a Rocky-esque workout session of him getting in shape. It never came. He stayed fat throughout the movie. He stayed a drunk. He was just having panic attacks, and that was just something I just never saw Thor going through. I did not expect that at all. It was hilarious. It just shows how great of an actor Chris Hemsworth is for him to lend his comedy. He's like, ever since Thor Ragnarok, he's been one of the funniest aspects of these Avenger movies. But yeah, I was trying to say, definitely the fact that Cap is worthy to wield Thor's hammer and possess Thor's powers was amazing. I enjoyed that a lot. When I saw the hammer lifting off the ground, I just thought that was Thor, doing it himself, because he had a Stormbreaker on his chest because Thor was trying to stab him with it. And when I saw Mjolnir get lifted up off the ground, I just thought Thor was doing it, but then it ended up being Cap. That shit was amazing. So Cap, Vision are both worthy of wielding Mjolnir. So that was definitely something exciting. But yeah, that final battle where uh, everyone comes back. You hear Sam in Cap's ear on your left, and if you recall, that is from the Winter Soldier, or was it Civil War? Cannot remember. Yeah, no, Winter Soldier. It was from Winter Soldier where um, Sam is running laps in Washington D.C. and Cap keeps passing him, saying on your left, on your left. So that was pretty fun. There's a lot of moments in this movie that they would call back to a particular movie within the past 11 years, and if you were somebody sitting in the theater and you barely started getting into these Marvel movies and didn't really pay attention to the ones dating back to all the way to 2008, some things would really go over your head. And there was a lot of moments like that, and one moment in particular was, I can think of, at Tony Stark's funeral. There's a scene where Happy is talking to Morgan, and he asked her, I think he asked her, what's your favorite food? And she said cheeseburgers. And that is basically a callback to the very first Iron Man, where they would rescue Tony Stark from the cave, and he said, are you hungry? And he was like, the first thing out of his mouth was like, first thing, getting a cheeseburger. And then we're going to hold a press conference. So that was a nod to, you know, it was to Iron Man, and all of a sudden, you know, his daughter also loving cheeseburgers the way her dad did. So overall, very satisfying ending. Well, not quite an ending, because we still got a whole lot more movies to be coming out after this, but it's just the beginning of phase 4 now. So I believe the next movie coming out is Spider-Man Far From Home. We're going to be getting another Doctor Strange, another Black Panther, another Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm not really too sure what's coming after that, but yeah. It should be definitely continuing with this Disney Plus that will be coming out anytime soon. I'm not really too sure when it's coming out, but I would have to say this movie is definitely at the top of my list. Best superhero movie. Before, I had it as The Dark Knight was the best one, but this one, I would have to say, easily replaced that. And yeah, I'm honestly at a loss for words of how good it was. It was perfect how it was 3 hours, but honestly, nothing dragged on. Nothing was like, you know, boring. If there was a scene where it was just all talking, it was necessary. It was necessary to have, you know, seeing the Avengers, you know, going through all this depression of losing. They've never lost before, so it made sense to have them, you know, go through what they went through, you know, and being the survivors of what happened, and having that guilt that they were having of failing, you know, everybody that counted on them. So yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot different from now on without Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow. But well, at least we still got, you know, we got Falcon as Captain America, so we'll have that. But yeah, still gonna be weird to see who steps into that role, because it was always either Iron Man or Cap to be the leaders of the Avengers, and now the 3 of the original 6 Avengers are gone, and now the only original 3 are Hulk, Hawkeye, and, well, Thor. Yeah, those are the 3 remaining of the original 6. So we'll definitely see what happens with Thor. If Thor is gonna get another movie, or I heard rumors of like he's gonna be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That would be entertaining, to say the least, to have Thor in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That'd be pretty funny, because you see him get on the ship with Rocket and with the other Guardians of the Galaxy. That's pretty funny, where he's like, "Oh no, you're the captain. You're the captain." Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. The the back and forth that he has with Star-Lord is pretty damn funny. So I think that's it for my spoiler talk. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, what your theories are, or what what went over my head when it comes to the whole time travel scenario. And I watched it twice and I'm still confused at that. So if you enjoyed my movie reaction, hit the like button. No. If you enjoyed my movie review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you did not, 8.